If only I had trusted my dog sooner, my son would not have been taken from my own house. The west gate stood open, unlocked. That never happened. Rex's growl shook the hallway before I even reached the stairs. It was not his attack growl. It was deeper. Warning. Furious. Tomas. I shouted. No answer. A door slammed somewhere near the garage. Then I heard it. Papa. Damien's voice. Clear. Afraid. The first time he had called me that in months, and it was fear that pulled it from him. I ran barefoot across marble floors, gun in hand. One of my guards lay unconscious near the service exit. The security monitor flickered. The west corridor camera had cut out again. Elena stood in the hallway, breathless, eyes wide but steady. He took him, she said. Rex lunged toward the open gate, barking like thunder. Tomas was gone. My son was gone. And my house, the fortress I built with blood and fear, had been breached from inside. If only I had listened to Rex the day he chose her. But the truth began long before that night. Back when my mansion was not broken by betrayal, only by grief. 6 months earlier, my home felt like a museum of silence. My wife's portrait hung above the fireplace. Fresh flowers beneath it. Every week. After she died, Damien stopped speaking. He was 5, but grief made him small. Heavy. Bath time meant screaming. Nighttime meant nightmares. Daytime meant silence. The staff moved like shadows. Even my men spoke in low voices inside the house. Rex trusted no one. He was trained to protect, to sense threat. Massive. Black fur like polished ink. Yellow-brown eyes that missed nothing. Every nanny we hired left within days. Then Elena Marquez walked through my doors. She did not look impressed by the mansion. She did not look afraid of me. Tall. Graceful. Dark skin warm against the white marble background. Natural curls pulled back. Simple cream blouse. No jewelry. Rex ran toward her. The head housekeeper gasped. Elena did not step back. She knelt slowly. Hello, she said softly. You guard this place, don't you? Rex stopped inches from her. Sniffed her hand. And lay down. The room went still. I hired her that afternoon. Because my dog had never been wrong. The first night I expected failure. I always expect failure. Bath time had become war. The sound of water hitting porcelain sent Damien into panic. I stood outside the bathroom door, arms folded, ready to step in. Water turned on. I waited for crying. It didn't come. Instead, I heard Elena's voice. Come. Playful. Commander Damien, the bubble sea is rising. Silence. Then a small splash. Then something that stopped my breathing. A giggle. I opened the door slightly. Damien sat in the tub, foam on his shoulders. Elena stood beside the counter, not sitting on the floor like past nannies. She kept a respectful distance, letting him feel in control. A sponge floated. The sea monster approaches, she whispered dramatically. He splashed it. She gasped loudly. You saved the kingdom. He laughed. Not forced. Real. That night I checked on him twice. No screaming. No tears. Just steady breathing. Elena sat in a chair near his bed, reading quietly. She did not know I watched from the hallway. For the first time in a year, my house felt like a home again. And that frightened me more than chaos. Change came in small moments. The second week, Damien spoke at dinner. Not much. Just one word. Water. But he had not spoken at the table in months. Elena did not celebrate loudly. She simply handed him the glass and smiled gently. After school, he no longer walked upstairs alone. He ran through the doors. Elena. She met him halfway, kneeling to his height. How was school, brave one? He told her about drawing a dragon. About a boy who shared crayons. About missing his mother. She did not interrupt. She listened. One afternoon I returned early and saw something new. Music played softly in the living room. Elena held Damien's hands, guiding him in small steps. Left. Right. Turn. He stumbled. She laughed softly. Even kings fall before they rule. He tried again. When he noticed me, he pulled away shyly. Papa, he said. Clear. Strong. I froze. He had not called me that since the funeral. Elena looked at me carefully, watching my reaction. I walked forward slowly. Show me the steps, I said. He smiled. And something inside my chest cracked open. The park became their ritual. Every evening at 5, Elena took Damien and Rex for a walk outside the estate walls. At first, I watched from the balcony. Rex walked calmly beside them. No tension. No alert posture. Damien held the leash with both hands. Elena's hand rested gently over his. One evening I joined them. The air was cool, the sun low. Other parents stared. Some recognized me. Most avoided eye contact. Elena walked as if none of that mattered. Damien pointed at a tree. "Climb?" he asked. She looked at me. "May he?" I nodded. I watched her lift him carefully, steadying his small foot against the bark. "Trust your grip," she told him. "You're stronger than you think." He reached a low branch and laughed. Rex wagged his tail. For the first time in months, I did not scan rooftops. I watched my son. And I watched her. She was not trying to impress me. She was trying to heal him. That difference mattered. And slowly, I began to see her not as an employee, but as something more dangerous. Someone my son needed. It was during one of those walks that I saw it. Rex's old training collar had loosened. I crouched to adjust it when something metal slipped free. A small silver charm fell into my hand. Round. Cold. Engraved with a crest I knew well. The Marquez emblem. 15 years ago, I ordered a strike on their warehouse. Her father died that night. My pulse slowed. Rex looked up at me quietly. That charm had not been there before. Someone placed it. I said nothing. That night, I removed the charm and locked it in my desk drawer. I watched Elena carefully over the next week. No secret phone calls. No strange visitors. Only baths, homework, dance steps, and quiet talks. But one thing changed. She watched me too. Not with hatred. With something complicated. And I realized the truth would not come through spying. It would come through confrontation. I called her into my office after Damien slept. Rex followed her in and sat beside her chair. I placed the silver charm on the desk. Her eyes flickered once. "You found it," she said softly. "You put it in my dog's collar." "Yes." "For revenge." "Yes." No denial. No lies. "I planned to kidnap him," she continued before I could ask. "I wanted you to feel what I felt." My jaw tightened. And I destroyed that plan." "Why?" Her voice trembled slightly. "Because he is innocent. Because he laughs like he deserves peace. Because he calls you Papa when he thinks you're not listening." That hit harder than accusation. "I cannot hurt a child to heal myself," she said. Rex leaned against her leg. "You stay," I decided calmly. "But understand this. If you betray my son, there will be no mercy." "I understand," she replied. That was our only confrontation. No shouting. Just truth. And something unspoken shifting between us. After that night, trust became fragile. I kept her under watch quietly. But I also began noticing things I had ignored. She paused in front of my wife's portrait one evening. "Your son has your patience," she said. "Does he?" I asked. "Yes." "He waits before he speaks." "Like me?" She looked at me carefully. "You wait before you feel." That answer unsettled me. One night, I passed Damien's room and heard him whisper,
"Good night, Elena." Elena by his bed, reading softly. Rex lay at her feet. She brushed Damien's hair back gently. Not possessive. Protective. I saw then that her feelings had changed long ago. Not because of me. Because of him. But something else had changed too. The west corridor camera flickered again. Only at night. Only near the service exit. And I remembered Tomas had handled maintenance last week. Rex growled when Tomas passed him in the hallway. At the time I dismissed it. That was my mistake. The day before everything fell apart felt ordinary. Damien insisted Elena sit beside him at dinner. "Family sits together," he said seriously. The staff exchanged glances. I allowed it. She looked at me quietly. Not sure. But I nodded and she sat. She had good composure, good table manners, which I didn't expect from someone like her, but she always found a way to impress me without trying. Later I stood alone in my study. Elena knocked softly. "I wanted to say thank you," she said. "For what?" "For not firing me." I studied her. "Why didn't you leave after I found out?" She held my gaze. "Because he needs stability. And because I see who you are when no one else is watching." "And who is that?" "A man trying to protect what he has left." Her honesty disarmed me. For a moment, I almost told her how much she had changed this house, then I wanted to be defensive because she was cracking my guard. "I am the boss, you know." But I did not. Before sunrise, Rex's growl woke me. The west gate was open. Tomas was gone. And my son was no longer in his bed. Rex was already at the stairs when I opened my bedroom door. He was not barking wildly. He was furious. Controlled. The west corridor lights flickered again. I ran. Damien's bed was empty. The window was closed. The only exit was the service gate. Unlocked. Tomas lay near the garage door, pretending to be unconscious. Rex growled at him instead of rushing past. That was when I understood. "You opened it," I said quietly. His eyes lowered. Too late. A van engine roared outside the estate walls. "Elena," I called. She ran down the hall, hair loose, eyes sharp. "He used the old plan," she breathed. "What plan?" "The first meeting point I ever designed." My chest turned cold. She grabbed her coat. "I know where he's going." For 1 second, every guard looked at her with suspicion. Old revenge. Old crest. Old plan. I made my choice. She rides with me. And in that moment, I trusted her more than my own men. The drive to the Riverside factory felt endless. Rex sat rigid in the back seat. "Elena," I said without looking at her. "Explain everything." She swallowed once. "When I first came, I created an outline. If I changed my mind, I would meet loyalists at the factory. Tomas must have found the draft. Did you contact them?" "No. I burned it. I never sent it." I studied her reflection in the windshield. "I planned to kidnap Damien," she continued. "But I tore that paper the night he called you Papa." Silence filled the car. "He was laughing in the bath," she whispered. "I could not turn that into a weapon." Her voice was not defensive. It was embarrassing. "If he is hurt," I began. "I will die before that happens," she said firmly. I believed her. That realization frightened me more than betrayal. The factory stood dark against the river. Broken windows. Old metal doors. Tomas stood inside, gun raised. Damien was tied to a chair. My son's face was pale, but when he saw Elena, he shouted, "I knew you'd come." That was all the proof I needed. Tomas laughed. "She was supposed to finish what her father started." "She ended it," I replied. "She betrayed her blood." "No," Elena said calmly. "I broke the cycle." Gunfire erupted. My men moved fast. 2 of Tomas's partners fell. Tomas grabbed Damien and pulled him back. "You both lose tonight," he snarled. Elena stepped forward slowly. "Let him go. This was never his war. It was always about the child." Tomas shouted. He pulled the trigger. Elena moved before I did. The shot echoed. She pushed Damien aside. And fell. Time slowed. Damien screamed. Rex lunged, knocking Tomas down. I fired once. Cling. Tomas dropped. I ran to her. Blood stained her blouse. Her breathing was shallow but steady. "Stay with me," I ordered. She forced a weak smile. "Is he safe?" "He's safe," I said. Her hand searched blindly. I took it. For years I had faced death without fear. But watching her lie there, I felt something close to panic. Damien knelt beside her. "You promised," he whispered. She looked at him. "I keep my promises." Sirens approached in the distance. As I lifted her carefully, I understood something clearly. She had not come to destroy me. She had come to forgive something she never fully understood. And now she was paying for it. The hospital hallway felt longer than any battlefield. Damien refused to leave her side. Rex lay beneath the bench, restless but silent. The doctor finally stepped out. "She will live," he said. The bullet missed her heart by inches. I closed my eyes briefly. When she woke hours later, I was still there. "You're safe," I told her. "And him?" "He won't leave the room." She breathed out slowly. "Elena," I said quietly, "why didn't you run when you had the chance?" She looked at me with tired eyes. "Because I saw you kneel beside his bed every night. I saw you whisper apologies to your wife's picture. I saw the man you hide from the world." My throat tightened. "I stopped hating you long before you found the crest." Silence. "I built my life on control," I admitted. "But the only thing I cannot control is how much I care about you." Her eyes filled. "I love you," I said simply. No pride. No armor. Just truth. And she did not look away. Weeks passed. She returned home slowly. Damien refused to sleep unless her chair was beside his bed again. Bath time laughter returned. Dinner felt whole. One evening I gathered my men. "The war's end here," I said. Some protested. I did not argue. I will not raise my son in endless revenge. Later that night, Elena stood beside me in the garden. "You changed your empire," she said softly. "You changed me," I answered. She hesitated. "There is something you should know." My body stiffened. "The night my father died, I was told you shot him." "I ordered the strike," I said. She nodded. "But he triggered the explosion himself. He chose death over capture." I learned that in the hospital. Silence. For years, I hated you for something that was not fully true. And I carried guilt for something I did not personally do. We stood there, the river quiet beyond the trees. Revenge stole 15 years from both of us, she whispered. Love gave them back, I replied. Damien danced again in the living room. Left. Right. Turn. Elena instructed. You pulled me in this time. Papa, your turn? I stepped awkwardly. She laughed softly. Even kings fall before they rule, she repeated. Rex lay nearby, calm. Watching. Choosing. For the first time, I understood his first decision. He did not sense revenge. He sensed conflict. And later love. That night, Damien hugged us both. Family, he said proudly. Yes, family. The investigation cleared Elena publicly. I stood before my men and said the truth. She protected my son. Anyone who doubts her doubts me. No one spoke again. We strengthened security. Removed corrupt guards. Closed the West Gate forever. I sold 2 of my most violent operations. Shifted investments. Legitimate fronts became real businesses. Not overnight, but intentionally. Elena began studying child psychology again. She wanted to help children who lived through violence. I know what that feels like, she said. So did I. One evening as the sun set, Rex rested at our feet. Damien climbed a tree in the garden. Higher this time. Stronger. Trust your grip. Elena called. I watched them both, and I finally understood. If only I had trusted my dog sooner. I would have known that sometimes the fiercest guardian sees love before a man blinded by grief ever can. Revenge almost built my legacy. But love built my family. And that was the only empire worth keeping. Months later, the house no longer echoed, it hummed with quiet life. Damien's laughter drifted through open windows as evening sunlight painted the walls gold. Elena stood beside me in the garden, her hand warm in mine, no longer an outsider but the heart of our home. Rex lay at our feet, older now, calmer, his watchful eyes finally at peace. I no longer checked the gates every hour. I checked on my family instead. The wars outside my walls grew distant, like storms fading over the horizon. What mattered was here. Small hands and hours, soft music in the living room, shared dinners without fear. If only I had understood sooner that strength is not in control, but in choosing love over pride. And sometimes, the fiercest guard dog does not protect you from your enemies, he leads you to your heart.